We have heard some interesting quotes in the last few years. Jensen Huang, right? It's not so much about you do it or not. It's about if you don't do it, you are for sure gonna lose out. It is happening as we speak, right? So urgency is definitely there, for sure. We had a lot of great discussions between us, Nikita, now. Moving into sort of the last section of today. Why now? Which is pretty important, right? We have sat here and also said a lot of the buzzwords that we hate ourselves, essentially. But there is something happening, right? I want to set the tone a little bit. Around 4 years ago, even actually before, back in 2018, I remember now, I did this slide when I was at SatAir, an Airbus, where I was sort of trying to create a little bit of this like momentum for rethinking like the budgeting and like we needed to invest into machine learning and AI and so on. What that slide essentially showed was a graphic from an American investment company called ARK Invest. And they, long story short, they showed like the economic impact of different technology platforms. And platforms here in this sense is more like the sector of the technology. So let's say AI, for example, versus blockchain and robotics and genomic sequencing and whatever, all that different stuff. And there, what was really baffling to me, and of course this was back in 2018, so a while back, but already back then, they estimated that the impact of AI will be double the impact of the internet. And that was just around the same time where I got this like epiphany around, okay, shit, software is gonna change forever because it's gonna be able to tap into all that human decision making that we are doing every single day, and how we communicate and so on. It's like with that, and we are talking back in 2018, it still took years to actually get, and now I keep forgetting, right? But it's 2.5 years ago we had the ChatGPT moment, I guess, right? 2.5 years ago. I think it was not on day one, but like 3-4 months in, I think everybody started to understand, holy crap, software is never gonna be the same. So why now? I think there's a few things we should talk about. There is a discussion out there in the enterprises of what is going to happen with our people. If we are sat here now and talk for some minutes on like you can digitize 90% of the decision making in one of your most core workflows, which is the transactional communication, the transactions happening. Like, what is happening with those manufacturers? Typically, they have like hundreds of people doing this, right? And it's. I think it's. We have heard some interesting quotes in the last few years. Jensen Huang, right? It's not so much about you do it or not. It's about if you don't do it, you are for sure gonna lose out. It is happening as we speak, right? So urgency is definitely there, for sure. If we're looking at sort of like what is it making it exactly this moment that you need to act? Can you say a few words about that? Why is it not in a year or in 2 years? Why is it now that you actually need to really take this serious?
I would actually position this to why not now? Because as we have conversations with our customers, they observe the fundamental shift happening as it was with the blue-collar work and the invention of the conveyor, where you have now the system which is running and then there is a few people assisting the manufacturing job, but it is largely the conveyor which is doing a lot of work. So then the economy shifted to be knowledge-based economy. And what we're seeing right now in the conversations that we had today, this whole knowledge is being digitized.
I would say one thing. So I was leading digital for these enterprises. And enterprises are inherently known for moving slow. As it's just hard to move a supertanker, right? And one thing I was always trying back then was to create a little bit of like both excitement, but also a little bit of drama And one thing I always pulled up was like Kodak. This like great company excelling. I think it's so cliche to bring it up, right? But they were really excelling at creating some of the best video or sort of like photo films and cameras and all that different stuff, right? And then from one day to the other, they got totally outcompeted with digital pictures, digital cameras. It's like that has always been the sort of like fear for large enterprises, that sort of their core product or their service is gonna be outcompeted with sort of like regular better products or new technology or competitors that are doing it slightly better. But it's like when you get to a certain amount as an enterprise of billions of dollars, for example, then there's just a barrier of entry as well, right? So they have been safe for a long time. But what I'm trying to say here is like we are essentially at a stage where things are having so high impact, as you just talked about. So if you're not acting today or tomorrow, you will not within the next 5 or 10 years see the impact. I think you will see competitors that are getting like 5-10x more out of the same. And if you are an enterprise, right, you are not gonna fire people if you see that you can actually do more with the same amount of resources. You're gonna rapidly grow. So it's like you are suddenly bringing in this superpower into these enterprises that you just haven't been able to see before or experience before. So it's like you will always have companies that are reluctant to act. But right now it hasn't been more dangerous to wait.